Hi guys, welcome back to another video with Pratham Test Prep. So good morning, good afternoon or good evening whenever you are watching this and wherever you are watching this. So we are back with a new episode on your legal Darpan, that is your peek into weekly legal affairs and current affairs for law. So we are glad to announce that we have been doing this from last 4 to 6 weeks and try to help all the students for their legal affairs under the CLAT, AILET and other law entrance exams. So if you are new to the channel, do make sure that you hit on the like, share and subscribe button, and also don't forget to hit on the bell icon so that you can get all the regular updates regarding the channel. Now, if you are not a part of our Telegram channel, do make sure that you're subscribing to our Telegram channel, and also make sure that you're looking for all the tips and the quizzes that keeps on happening, and do make sure that you're following the entrance exam deadlines that are required for the forms and other deadlines which are there related to these entrance exams are being put up on this group. So do make sure that you are subscribing to it as soon as you are watching this video. Now, coming to the first news for the day, that IFS Rajesh Ranjan has been named as the next Indian envoy to Ivory Coast. Now, Indian Foreign Services Officer Dr. Rajesh Ranjan, right? He's been appointed as the next Indian ambassador to the West African nation of Ivory Coast, right? Also called Côte d'Ivoire. So that's what they call it in the West African continent. So Dr. Rajesh Ranjan is currently posted as the High Commissioner of India to Republic of Botswana, and also he holds a PhD degree in public finance from Allahabad University. This is not something important for you, just telling you the credentials of the person who has taken this post ahead. Now, Dr. Rajesh Ranjan was also the director in the Americas division at the Ministry of External Affairs, and also handled the issues of India with US and Canada, right? So he's a pretty experienced person and he's been under this post for a long period of time now. Now the next news for the day, Apurva Srivastava has been named as India's ambassador to Slovak Republic. Now this is the person who's an Indian Foreign Services officer, right, IFS officer. So she's been appointed as the India's ambassador to Slovak Republic, and she's been an officer of 2001 batch. Currently serves as Consul General at Consulate of India in Toronto, that is in Canada, and also prior to this, she has served into various positions that includes Ministry of External Affairs, and also been posted in places like Kathmandu and Paris, right? Now, coming to the next news for the day, Lula da Silva is the new president of Brazil. There was a huge protest that was going on in Brazil for a long period of time. Now Lula da Silva has taken up as the presidentship of Brazil very recently, and he's a leftist leader, and he has recently made a comeback as the new president of Brazil after defeating the far-right president Jair Bolsonaro. Right, so there was a huge wave that we have seen during the time of COVID also, that Mr. Bolsonaro was very famous from Brazil, and you might have seen a lot of news that were coming up at that point of time about Bolsonaro. Now, coming for the new news for the day, that is that the Punjab and the Haryana government has agreed before the High Court to consider the plea for setting the transgender protection cells. Now the transgender protection cells will be there to protect the transgender in these two states, right? That is Punjab and Haryana, both of them. The next is that the petition was put up by Dhananjay Chauhan, who also sought the formulation of comprehensive policies on measures and procedure for protecting of transgender persons in the respective states. Now, in this case, the petitioner has earlier approached the authorities, right? He went to the governments earlier for setting up such a system and protection cells, but the state didn't take any notice of his emails, and all his efforts were of vail, right? Now, the respondent, that is the state of Punjab and Haryana, submitted that they shall consider the representation of petition and also decide the same expeditiously in according to the provisions with the law. So now they are ready to take a stand and also act on it as soon as possible. Now, the division bench of Chief Justice Ravi Shekhar Jha and Justice Arun Palli were hearing the submission of both the parties. That means that they were hearing what both the parties have submitted in the court, disposed of the petition and state that the respective authorities would be at liberty to examine the matter, taking all the facts into consideration, and therefore they shall accept or reject the same in accordance with the provisions of law. Right? So they have told them to take the decision under the same. Now, adoption of the world's first single charger rule. So Europe has taken out this rule for all of its products that are electronically charged or which are charged with a wire in it, right? So the European Parliament has taken out the single charging port for electronic gadgets by 2024 in the EU, and also the new EU law states that new smartphones, tablets and cameras or smartwatches, headphones, speakers, all of them will come with a single C-type charger in them. That's what the EU has come up with, a single charger rule. Now the new rules will make the customer to choose between two chargers, one with and one without USB-C, while purchasing a handheld device. Now, under the first phase of the law, which will be implemented in late 2024, all mobile phones, tablets, cameras sold in the EU will be equipped with a USB Type-C charging port. That is also leading to Apple saying that they will be complying to the rules, but we don't know what complying means. It's a very open-ended and also an ambiguous statement that is given up by Apple. So they might remove the charging port altogether, or they might go on MagSafe charging. It depends on what is happening across the globe. They will see how the world is recepting on the MagSafe technology that they have taken out. But definitely USB Type-C charging port shift has to be made. Now coming to the next part is that from the rules from 2026, this rule will also expand to including laptops to it, right? So laptops will also be charged by port C. Now, as it is expected to impact smartphone manufacturers such as Apple's, since the rules of changing iPhones and other devices users in the EU, so they have to provide USB-C charging, or the alternate route which we have talked about, that they already have MagSafe charging in their phones, so they will stop using those chargers altogether and remove the port altogether. Now, the next is that the USB-C can charge up to 100 watts, transfer data up to 40 GB per second, and link to external displays. Now, in the next 2 years, the EU law will affect mobile phones, handheld video game consoles, headphones, headsets, tablets, digital cameras, portable speaker, e-readers, that is basically your Kindles and other things, earbuds, mic, keyboards, and portable navigation system. Also includes your digital watches, right, which is also the Apple Watch and other Google watches that you see in the market. Now, their aim is to minimize the electronic waste that is being made in the entire world, and also empower customers to make more sustainable choice, because you can reuse your devices and the chargers that are there. You don't need to buy a new charger every time you're buying a device. Now, it is also to simplify the life of Europeans, bringing down the cost and reducing the numbers of chargers in the market. It can save at least 200 million euros each year and significantly bring down the electronic waste every year. Now, currently, about 11,000 tons of e-waste is generated by disposed or unused chargers in the European Union each year. Right? So it's a big amount that is being made in the European Union itself every year without fail. Okay? Now, it will also put an end to the technological lock-in effect, which involves a customer fully depending on a single manufacturer, right? Because we have seen that people who are depending on Apple or any other manufacturer, if they are not producing that, it will create a havoc for all the customers who are there. Now, with these rules may adversely affect the businesses of big companies, big tech giants, because the companies like Apple, Huawei, Samsung, MI, Redmi, all of these will be affected by this decision itself, because they have to change how their cell phones or other technologies are working in the entire arena. Now coming to the next news for the day, very important, May Wong, right? So if you have seen the dollar bill, she is the first Asian American to be featured on the US currency. She'll be coming on a coin. So she's a Hollywood star, Chinese American Hollywood star, will be featured on the US currency. The quarter dollar bill, right, coin that depicts a close image of May Wong will commence circulation on October 24th of 2022. So it has already been started in the circulation now. So if you go to the US, you might find May Wong's coin there circulating in the US market. Now, this will be the fifth coin in the American Women Quarters AWQ program, and also the Latin phrase will be used, that is E pluribus unum, that means out of many there's one, right? It is designed to recognize Wong's accomplishments overcoming challenges and hurdles during her lifetime. Wong is also regarded as Hollywood's first Chinese American star, and also she has had a decades-long career in the movie and motion picture, television and theatre. Now, as the first Asian female actor, she faced discrimination and cast aside in favor of non-Asian actresses, because you have seen this happens in Bollywood also. We rarely see women with dark skin coming up in Bollywood because of the kind of discriminations that are faced on the background level that they check, and the directors, producers, all of these things are very complicated. Now coming to the next is that she is forced to play exoticized stereotype of East Asians and could not get a role in the films as a lead because of law prohibiting actors from different races from kissing on screen. So there were a lot of things that were happening against her, and that's why she's gotten a chance to be going on featuring on the US currency itself. Now coming to the next news, Nobel Peace Prize. We have seen the Nobel Peace Prize has come out. So it's been conferred to the human rights activist Ales Biltatsky from Belarus. Ukraine Human Rights Organization named the Center for Civil Liberties and Russian Human Rights Organization Memorial. Now this Nobel Peace Prize was being conferred to individuals or organizations from Belarus, Russia and Ukraine. Implicit message is being sent about Russia's invasion of Ukraine itself. Now, these awardees have advocated for human rights, democracy and peaceful coexistence in the three neighboring countries, and they have for years supported the right to criticize the political power and also sought to safeguard the fundamental rights of the citizens who are living in these countries. So very important. In addition, they played a major role in recording cases of human rights abuse, war crimes and also abuse of power, because obviously Russia has taken over a lot of parts of Ukraine and they have misused their power, and these people are making a note of that. Now together they have demonstrated the importance of civil society in safeguarding peace and democracy. Right? So these are the people who are involved in making peace and democracy as a part of the civil society. Now, who is this person? Ales Biltatsky. He is also instigated the democratic movement in Belarus in mid-1980s. He has founded the organization called Vesna Spring in 1996, opposed to the controversial constitutional changes that the Belarus president Alexander Lukashenko, the directorial powers, right? He was a dictator, right? He was the dictatorial powers that he used on the country. So he was against it. Over the years, the organization started recording and protesting against the government's use of torture against political prisoners. Now, Biltatsky was incarcerated recently from starting large-scale protests against Lukashenko government in 2020 and still remains unprisoned without trial. In 2020, he received the Right to Livelihood Award from the Swedish Right Livelihood Foundation. So he's a person who's already been recognized on multiple stages before even getting a Nobel Prize. So you can see his contributions to the world and to the society of Belarus, Russia and Ukraine has been immense. That's why he has also received the Right to Livelihood Award from the Swedish Right Livelihood Foundation. So these are some of the accomplishments that the person has done, and obviously receiving a Nobel Prize is not a joke. Now, there was a recent decision by the BCCI where they have decided to keep the wages of the men and women equal. I am sorry there was no heading that is missing here, but you can see that what was the recent decision was that the apex members of the 15th BCCI Council had recently passed an unanimous resolution to implement a new pay equity policy for contracted women cricketers, and this will ensure the same pay is provided to both men and women cricketers. Now, under the new pay equity, women cricketers will receive the same match fee as men. They will receive 15 lakh for test matches, 6 lakhs for ODI matches, 3 lakhs for T20 matches. Previously, women earned 4 lakh for test, 1 lakh for T20s and ODIs. Now, apart from match-wise fees, women cricketers also receive payments under the retainship system. Now, each year, grade A cricketers receive rupees 50 lakh, B receive 30, C receives 10. Men cricketers who play higher number of games receive payments between 7 crore to 1 crore per annum based on the grading system A. The BCCI has not made changes to the retention system as of yet, right? So there will be an equal pay that we can see, right? So BCCI to offer equal pay to men and women cricketers. Now coming to the next part, which are these other countries which are also providing equal pay in sports, right? So the first one is that New Zealand has become the first country to bring pay parity, right? That means that women and men do get paid equally. New Zealand Cricket Association, the governing body for the professional cricket in the country, and the Players Association in the 5-year deal. Under the deal, both international and domestic level women and male players will receive the same match fee across all formats and competition. This will also be equity in terms of travel, accommodation and training environment. Matlab they will get everything equal as it is given to a male, it will be provided to a female, and there will be no discrimination, no parity that will be there between their pay and their exact lifestyle that they are providing to the male cricketers also, right? So the US Soccer Association for men and women have signed an agreement this year to provide equal pay. This move is significant since men receive higher pay than women because of reasons like higher number of games that are played by them in per season, more advertisement, and also corporate sponsorship that are based on the audience size. Because if you are seeing the match, right, if there are a huge number of people are watching the match, that means there is a huge audience, and also the television rights, the advertisement will have a better impact, and also the rights that people have taken will earn more money if the viewership is higher. So that all are the factors that are considered before giving the pay, but they have provided equity in the pay. It doesn't matter what the sizes are, right? The Supreme Court of India has banned the two-finger test. This was earlier used for basically in rape cases to check the hymen breakage of a woman, and also it was a very, very intrusive kind of a test, and it has been accepted by Supreme Court on multiple occasions. So the Supreme Court on 31st of October reiterated the ban on the two-finger test in the rape cases, warning that persons using such test will be deemed to be guilty of misconduct, obviously, observing that the test is based on patriarchal mindset that assumes that sexually active women could not be raped, right? Because this was exactly a test to check the hymen breakage, which we also called virginity in the layman terms that we have heard so far. So the bench of Justice D.Y. Chandrachud and Hema Kohli regretted that such a method of examination was being used even today, right? It is a thing which has went a long back away from us. Then they were also surprised at how it is being used right now also. So that's how it is. So the Supreme Court has banned this test and also will consider it to be guilty of misconduct if any person is found to be doing this test, right? Now, the court has said that this court has time and again deprecated the use of two-finger text in the case alleging rape and sexual assault. The so-called test has no scientific basis. It instead re-victimizes, re-traumatizes the woman. The two-finger test must not be conducted. The test is based on an incorrect assumption that sexually active women cannot be raped. Nothing can be further from the truth, right? So they don't care about how, who is sexually active or not, but it doesn't mean that you cannot be raped. So the bench directing the Union Health Ministry to ensure that the survivors of the sexual assault and the rape are not subjected to such two-finger tests, because obviously it's intrusive in nature. The probative value of women's testimony does not depend on a sexual history, right? Obviously, if someone had sex, it doesn't change their entire system that was consent there or not, right? So they need to see that if a person is being raped, it doesn't mean that if they're sexually active in the past, it doesn't change anything. It is a patriarchal and a sexist to suggest that women cannot be believed when she stated that she was raped merely because she is sexually active, right? Because her hymen is broken earlier, she cannot be said that she cannot be raped, right? So that's a very patriarchal and also a very sexist thing to say. So the apex court remarks were made while deciding on an appeal that was filed against the judgment of the Telangana High Court, which overturned the conviction recorded by a trial court in a rape case. So they have said that two-finger test is basically not allowed. Now this is it for today, guys. I hope you were able to understand what we have discussed today, and there were a lot of factors that we have discussed in today's session. So do make sure that you hit on the like, share and subscribe button, and also it's a keen request to also drop a comment in the comment section for what all you expect us in the next session. We will be definitely covering those for you, and do make sure that you are hitting on the bell icon for all these regular updates. Thank you for joining this live session. Do take care of yourself.